My old mailbox kept getting overstuffed with deliveries from the mail carrier. So when my husband found a bigger one for free on the side of the road, he couldn't resist. He knew I could do something with it. So today I'm giving it a quick refresh, a little paint, a little artwork, and a whole lot of charm. We'll begin prepping out the mailbox by removing the previous address, and then we'll take off the flag as well so that we can get it all prepped out and ready for a fresh coat of paint. There is some rust on here, but it's not so bad that it's eating through anywhere, so it's mainly just on the surface. We're just going to give it a good sand so that we get a nice smooth surface and not, all the rusty texture on top. Then we'll go ahead and apply Rust-Oleum's Rust Block paint. It's a flat black. It's a primer and paint in one, and it will seal in all of that rust to keep it from rusting anymore, as well as give it a nice dark black color. And I put on several coats to make sure that it would soak in some sections really a lot. And so some places needed more coats is what I'm trying to say. I also applied that inside the lid of the mailbox as well, or the door, so that, because I want to put the number inside the door as well. And then gave the flag and its holder a good coat of flat black, and then I went over it with a rose gold. So while that dries, we'll go ahead and start cutting out the numbers and address on my silhouette. This is a Silhouette Cameo 4. I believe. I don't remember. It's been a while since I had it. I just made up the design in the Silhouette program and then sent it over to the cutter, and we'll just cut this out. I'm using Oracle 631 vinyl. It's a repositional vinyl so that we get a nice crisp stencil but doesn't pull off the paint underneath. And since we're making this into a stencil, we're just going to pull out all of the lettering and all of the numbers so that you're left with a stencil. And that's what we'll transfer onto the mailbox. Okay, so I have mapped out where I'm going to put the numbers and the street name. I want that to be on the side and very prominent. We have an issue with the house numbers on our road are not consecutive. So our mail gets mixed up all the time. So I'm hoping that if our number is very large and pronounced, they won't be able to, mix it up. I'm also putting it large on the front and inside the door. So when they open up the door, they can see it right there as well. So, originally, I wanted it down here so that everything was underneath the flag line. But since this will be in between two other mailboxes, I'm putting it more towards the top so that it's seen more clear, as they're coming down the road. So hopefully that clears up some of the mix-up. Hopefully, we'll be able to put packages in here that, hopefully they won't still try to shove something twice its size inside the little mailbox. So I want the flower to kind of come here and spill off into the letters a little bit. So it's going to be the same kind of flower as what is on the tiny box. So if you haven't seen that video, go back and check that out. I'll have a link to it at the end of this video. But we're doing cone flowers or echinacea flowers. We want this to kind of come this way. Now on this side, the number will be this way with the address. So I think I'm going to do the flower coming up this way. Kind of like this. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. All right, now that I have it all sketched out, I'm going to go put on a Christmas movie and sit in front of the TV and watch the Christmas movie while I get this together. So since this will be a purple flower, a lighter purple flower, I'm basing everything in white first so that the color comes out nice and true. And I'm just using some chalk-based paint to paint this on. Since we already have a primer on there that is adhering that paint, then we put the chalk-based paint in with the artwork, and we'll put the clear coat over the top so it seals everything in, so this paint isn't going to go anywhere. I took a little kudzu to create a stem and some leaves, and kudzu is the color, the green color. And then I took another color called muscadine wine. It's a kind of a burgundy red. It's the same that I'm using for the center of the flower, just to create a little shadow in the stem and in the leaves. So that muscadine wine will create that nice dark, deep color that's in the center of the cone flower. And then I'm taking a color called Secret Path. It's a very light lavender color, or almost lilac, I guess you would say. And then Peony is the color that I'm using to create shadows. And then using white to highlight, of course. And then a little bit of terracotta to create all the stimming. So let me take you out here to the mailboxes so I can show you the menagerie that is going on out here. So come on. Well, we're going to fast forward because it's a long walk. And as you can see, because it's a long dirt road, it's also a private road, and that's why the mail carriers aren't coming into our house. The other problem is it's a white mailbox, which is not very easy to keep clean, and just not a whole lot of curb appeal out here. That's for sure. So that's why I painted it black, so that also the coneflower really stood out. But it's also a lot easier to keep clean. So on the other side, I changed the design just slightly. I made the flower just a little bit smaller than the one on the other side, and I added one that kind of wrapped around to the front as well, just to, add a little more interest and not look like, a sticker was stuck on the side of the mailbox. We're just doing the same exact process as we did before. Let me know in the comments below, has this inspired you to try to put something on your mailbox to make it a little more distinctive or stand out a little more? And as you can see, I also added a little monarch butterfly on top of this coneflower on this side of the mailbox. I just felt we have a lot of monarchs that are in our yard all day long, and I thought it just was appropriate. And it's cute too. And there's the flower that wraps around to the front. Now we'll get ready for the house numbers, and that's where, well, I gotta do a bunch of that off camera, y'all. And what do you think so far? I really love how the flower just pops off of that black mailbox. Okay, so since I want the letters all in white, now I'm going over it with white. Apologize for skipping some things out and trying to, don't care to have my street address out there for everybody in the world. But so I'm just, dabbing this on as lightly as possible, and I'll go back over it 2-3 times. So what I did is I just made the stencil, as you saw, I made the stencil with the silhouette, and then I put it on where I wanted it under. Some of the letters are butting right up against the design, and then some of the letters are actually over top of them. So where they were over the top, I sprayed it with clear coat, and everywhere else I did the black. It's just going to give, it's going to prevent the bleed through, I hope. But this is a textured mailbox, so wish me luck that it's all going to work out. I probably should have picked up white spray paint is what I'm thinking right now. But we're going to try and see how it comes out. I've added our number as well as thank you on the inside of the mailbox as well, inside that door. And the numbers, I used a really thin font so that it gave a more modern look. Now I hope that all of our delivery problems have been solved. Like I said in the beginning, we built a package drop house last week, and that solved one of the problems. So this was the other one that we needed to solve. The black color is much easier to upkeep, especially since, I don't see it right in front of my house every single day. As well as the flower, it just adds just the right amount of whimsy. What do you think, y'all? Are you ready to update your mailbox? All right, we'll see you in the next one. Have a very blessed day.